Welcome back, folks, to Special Interests with Bob and Donna. Today we're going to do our third video on the Wicked Edge manually controlled, angle controlled Precision Sharpener, the W130 model. If you remember last time, we had an issue with some diamond dust that was located in the top of the unit that was causing some squeaking noises, and Bob, being the way he is, wanted to get rid of the squeaking noises. So we're going to be taking apart this unit today for you. But before we do that, I'd like to let you know who we are. I am a retired New York City Board of Education educator, and Robert is an award-winning novelist, crime thriller novelist, and outdoors writer. He's a member of the New York State Outdoor Writers Association, the Outdoor Writers Association of America, and we are proud members of the Trumansburg Fish and Game Club in Central New York. And being a hunter, he's a hunter, I'm not a hunter, but we're both anglers. We need sharp knives, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so I'm going to let Bob begin, and we'll see what goes with this.
Okay, thank you, Donna. Donna had mentioned that some diamond dust and or debris had gotten into the top of the unit. Actually, it had gone beyond the top of the unit and got into the lower part of the unit by the cam, and we'll get into taking this thing apart completely. It sounds a bit
Scary.
but it's really a piece of cake. Again, as I pointed out last time, everything's easy once you know how. And we call the company just to make sure that we were proceeding in the right direction. And again, it's really, really simple to do. So what we're going to do, this is where we left off last time. This is what you were looking at. And rather than spend, 5 minutes taking off everything, inverting the unit from the base, we're just going to break for a moment while I do that. We'll come back and we'll look at this unit, less all this clutter, if you will. Okay?
Okay, we'll be back.
Okay, we're back, folks. You can see that the base is clean of debris. We have the unit separated from this board, which, by the way, this was something that I had laying around downstairs. It's an old Farberware board. And why I did this, I saved $75. The base that they sell you, I believe there's two. One is granite, and I believe that's $75. So I felt I'll just say I'll save that amount, and here we go. So what we're going to start with is taking the arms off here. Okay, we're taking the arms off the degree bar, so take them off and put them over here. So I'm simply unscrewing thumb screw here and sliding these off. All right, and now we're going to invert the unit, and I want to remove these two screws here. So let's see, we'll take this, and invert this. Okay, you'll see there is a long end and a short end. And my notes tell me here that the long side is 5/32, which we need to remove these two screws, and the other side is 1/8. So we're using the 5/32, And you can see I had that on very securely. Okay. Now, what I suggest doing is, for the first time, familiarizing yourself with these parts. Okay? And what I'm going to do is put this down for a moment. Actually, you could see that where I slid this off, or it slid off inadvertently. There's the base of the vise, okay? And these screws are we're going to get to momentarily. But what I want to do first is to suggest that you go to your manual for the model Wicked Edge 130, Precision Knife Sharpener. And we'll go to page 8, because it has a list that I'd like you to be familiar with. We have the Generation Vise, Generation 3 Vise, camshaft. We'll get into all these, but I'll just go through this quick. Camshaft, depth key, degree bar, vise lever, thumb screw, rod guides that we took off, the Allen key, so on and so forth. Okay, so what we're going to do is we separated the vise base from the unit, from the clamp. And now we're going to get into removing these 4 screws with the same long side 5/32. Okay, so I'm going to go to some notes here, and it tells me after I remove the rod guides from the degree bar, I'll remove the thumb screw from the vise lever. So here's the thumb screw for the lever of the vise. We're going to take that off and put that aside. And another suggestion would be to make yourself a diagram as you take this apart for the first time, so that you don't miss a step. So we're going to remove these. Actually, I could have, to save time here, I could have used my electric screwdriver and 1, 2, 3 be done. But I prefer to do it by hand anyways. And we're going to go to the next page here. With the 5/32 Allen wrench, remove the 2 machine screws that are securing the degree bar from the sharp. We did that. Remove, here's where we are, remove the 4 machine screws from the cam housing plate. Okay. Okay. Now, I just want to point out, I want to keep this section upside down. Why? Because once we take this off, parts can fall out. That's the nervous part, okay? But if you follow the instructions, and I haven't seen this anywhere, in their manual they do not show you how to take this apart, nor have I seen anything on video. And we looked all over, so you're getting this firsthand, okay? Being very, very careful here, okay? So we're going to take this, we're going to keep this upside down, as you need to be careful not to abruptly turn the unit upright, because within are components that will fall out. Gingerly upright the section and cautiously remove the components. Okay, so we're going to do this here. Okay. Here are our screws. Okay. We have the black rectangular cam follower. Let's see. I think that would be in here. So I'm inverting this. I'm going to take this out, and we're going to see a bunch of washers in here. Okay. And we're going to note, and here's where I'm going to ask you to be very careful. You're going to note the position of these. These washers, I believe they're called Belleville washers, have a, take it from the top, a concave and a convex side. So let's just put this back and just read very carefully, okay? We have, yep, 5 sets of concave, convex Belleville washers. The doghouse, which is a black Quonset hut-shaped component. So that would be here. Okay, there's your dome-shaped, if you will, Quonset hut-shaped component. All right, you can see how that fits in here. Okay, that's why I suggest you use a diagram. I have in my notes here, you have nothing at this point except following these instructions. Again, I strongly suggest making a diagram of the parts along with the order in which they were removed. Covered by the rectangular black plastic cam housing plate, you'll note 5 sets of convex, concave Belleville washers seated upon a cam post. So let's take these apart 2 at a time. Okay, again, convex, concave. And that's the order that we'll take it apart 2 at a time. We're really not a hurry here. Okay. Another 2. And just separate this so you can see. Another 2. And another 2. Note that the convex part is on the bottom, and you'll just build like that. Convex facing the concave and so forth. So let's just see. I don't really recall, although my notes will tell me here. Okay, this spins in here, it doesn't come out. So what we're going to do, when I address this diamond particle debris issue with the company, they told me to clean these washers, all right? I did, and I cleaned other parts. I cleaned all the parts, as a matter of fact, with a micro cloth, and it really didn't take care of the issue. We're going to get into the whys and wherefores in a moment. So I went off to Harbor Freight, a great store for inexpensive tools. And as a matter of fact, this was a freebie, Donna, right?
That's right.
Okay, so I used some of my...
Spend your money and you get something free at Harbor Freight.
So I used one of these cloths, and I'm just going to pretend to do this now to take my time. Not going to spend, and do 10 washes, but I clean these thoroughly, okay? And I cleaned everything else thoroughly. And you can see over here, I think the camera will pick this up, Donna, there's a little dust on here, maybe, okay? Actually, I doubt it because it would be making noise again, whatever. Okay, then with a clean chip brush, and I do mean clean, this is brand new, maybe after cleaning this your first time, I would wipe this very well, put it away, and use this brush for your wiping anything that could collect in here. And when I did this, there was a little diamond dust, I believe, was, the dust from everything. So I'm cleaning everything up. I get in here, I clean this up. Okay, there's the clamp, the vise. I clean that up. And now we come to this section here. Note how this fits in here. Okay, again, you want to perhaps make that diagram. So I'm going to take this here, and I'm going to clean this up with my chip brush. I'm going to take my cloth and wipe this down. And we're not going to spend the time putting this together again because it's simply the reversed order. So everything that you see here being taken apart and cleaned and how it's cleaned, you'll put back in reverse order. As a matter of fact, I'm even going to clean this up a little bit. Okay, and we're going to take a break for a moment because we haven't taken everything apart yet. We're going to really deal with the culprit, and this is the culprit. Diamond dust got in here that you could see very discernibly. In here, when I addressed a little dust or whatever, I'm not sure if it was the diamond dust or whatever, but this was the culprit. So why didn't I tell you to take this apart initially where we're going to deal with this? There's a very good reason for it, which I'll explain when we get back. So we'll take a moment now, and I just want to organize myself here. Okay, we're back and a little bit more organized. What we're going to do is go into this cam housing next. This is the cam housing, and we're going to remove it. Okay, you can't put it in wrong. Put it over here, and we're going to note that there are two shiny brass, bullet-shaped, you'll see when we pull them out, bullet-shaped pins, if you will. The flat will be in the upright position, and the bullet head, if you will be down. So let's just invert these now. Okay, there they are. They're out. And again, we're going to take our micro cloth and we're going to clean these up, or pretend to clean them up. They're clean. I've gone through this a couple of times. Okay, and we're going to simply replace them. Remember, bullet head down, flat side up, bullet head down, flat side up. And place this back in here. And now what I'm going to do, Donna, if you'll hand me, or I'll just reach across here. I have a can here of 3-in-1 oil and a couple of Q-tips, and I'm going to open this up and I'm going to put a little bit, and I mean just a little bit of oil on here, and I'm simply going to just hit this lightly. And on this cam here, not going to put any more oil on. You can see it shiny. I'm just going to put a thin film of oil. I want to make sure I cover this. Okay. Now, this is why two heads are better than one. Donna, what am I going to do here?
Put your Quonset hut in there.
This is my Quonset hut. The curvature. Note the curvature. And you can't put it in wrong. Won't go in here, so you know that this is correct. Now I have to be careful. I'm going to be putting these washers back on the post. Okay, so we want this convex down, then you want this facing one another, and we simply go 1 set, 2 sets, 3 sets, 4 sets, and 5 sets. Okay. And now we want to get this rod back in the hole here. Again, you can't put it in wrong. Okay. Invert this. And you can see it's in there now. Okay. Everything is clean here. And now again, you'll just simply use reverse order in putting this back together. Okay? And let's see if I missed a beat here. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we've dealt with this. This is the culprit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my keys here, not the Allen key, but the other one, and I'm going to use just one end of this, and I'm going to push a pin out. Okay? You can see the pin starting to come out. Go to the other side and push the pin. Okay, let's take this out because this just may fall out later. I'm going to pretend this is all put together and we're just dealing with the top. Okay, So I'm going to pull out the pin. I'm going to pull out the pin. And I'm going to remove this, and I want you to note the spring that's in here. Okay? Camera pick that up? As a matter of fact, let's make this simple because we'd have to do that anyways. You can see there's a recessed section here for the spring to go in and for the spring to go in over here. It's just that simple. But I'll tell you what's not simple. Putting this back, or at least for me it wasn't, to put this back properly and lining the pins gets a little bit tricky, okay? But it's doable. It's not a problem. It's actually easier to do all this than it was for me to get the pins back in. But what we want to do is to note that when I took this apart initially, there was a cylindrical shaped piece of foam underneath the spring. And the reason I have it somewhere over here is that it really, to me, is superfluous, okay? The idea of the cylindrical piece of foam is to catch any of the diamond particles, diamond debris, diamond dust, I should say, or any of the metal filings from sharpening your knife. You place this, and they don't address it in the video that's shown addressing changing your clamps to, say, receive a knife that's has a spine wider than 1/4 of an inch. You need another attachment, and we may get into that in a moment. Putting this back under the spring and letting this kind of like move around, it doesn't really do the job it's supposed to do. Again, the job is to collect or prevent diamond dust and or metal filings from getting down into the camp. This was the culprit. Okay, but again, saying you really don't have to take this apart unless you're going from two accoutrements: the low angle adapter that we covered last time, and one that I don't have because I don't have anything that's more than 1/4 of an inch or more. And as a matter of fact, I will touch on this. It's in my note. The jaws for the 1/4 inch blade run from, will hold from 0.31 inch to a maximum, I'm sorry, from 3/16 to 0.31 max clamp opening. I don't have that here. I may get it down the pike if I get into some knives that have a thicker spine. We covered the vise key sizes, okay, but 3/16 of an inch is your clamping thickness for the standard jaws on the WE model 130. That's what we're dealing with here. So that's that. So I would simply remove this, keep it in abeyance if you so choose, and when this is put together with the spring back in, we'll just pretend that it is now. What I do is, and I covered this last time, is to take a piece of painter's tape, size it, double over it on itself so the sticky sides touch each other and they don't touch the jaws of the clamp. And this will do the job of this far better than this does. Again, I feel that this is superfluous. Okay? And when you're through sharpening your knives, maybe 2, 3, well, I do it for each time. instead of taking anything apart, I simply do this. And I have never had a problem since. Now, in all fairness, and they'll tell you in the manual, they will tell you that when you receive your new stones, no matter, whether you buy, a set that has 4 of them, or you go on to get more stones. You are breaking in these diamond stones. And as you break them in, there will be some diamond dust. Whether it gets in or not, you may not have a problem. I did have a little bit of a problem. That's why I got into this. And I said, listen, nobody else is doing this. We'll show them how to take this apart, and you're good to go. What did I want to add here? I think that pretty much wraps it up. Okay. Maybe I didn't conclude that thought. That there will be some diamond dust. There may be some debris from your filings getting in there. This simple step will take care of your problem. And all my stones now, Donna, you can flash over here. Okay, all my stones are pretty well broken in now, and again, I haven't had a problem. I think that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you.